Major George Sawyer, personal log, January 20th, 1946. After speaking with Major Staver this morning, I can confirm Operation Stapler has been a resounding success. While our officers met with the Soviet representatives to negotiate the fair split of Group 935's research, our operatives quietly extracted 40 upcoming days there to be officially hired as War Department special employees. To our knowledge, the Soviets have yet to realize what we've done. Since the discovery of the depository near Groom Lake in '37, our progress has been minimal. Our hope is that these scientists will provide us the edge we desperately need for our Element 115 research program. All of this would not have been possible without the help of one Dr. Edward Richthofen. When he reached out to us last August, he promised unfettered access to Group 935's research in exchange for providing safe harbor for its scientists. While we may not have secured all the research, we did get the scientists, the Brain Trust. If we do ever locate Dr. Richthofen, I would like to shake his hand and thank him personally for the great service he has provided to the United States of America.
This is Dr. Schuster, personal log, June 27, 1947. With the help of Major Sawyer and Operation Stapler, I began employment at the Pentagon. I'm assigned to their 115 division, which focuses on R&D of the element. While I am grateful for this opportunity, I have my reservations. Element 115 is a resource with potentially infinite applications. Yet the only thing these scientists and the Pentagon seem concerned with are our undead experiments. I made it clear to them that my own work with Group 935 was primarily focused on its teleportation technologies. If they wanted my help with that, I would gladly oblige, but the idea of resuming undead experimentation horrified me. The room went silent. Clearly, they were not satisfied with my answer. Finally, Major Sawyer asked why. I was blunt, perhaps too blunt, and told them what happened at Griffin Station, about Maxis's daughter Samantha, about the MPD, about the undead outbreak, about everything. If we resumed experimentation, there was no guarantee she wouldn't take control of them, just as she had done the others. More importantly, there was no guarantee she wouldn't kill us all, as her father instructed her. I told them all this, and do you know what happened? They laughed.
This is Groom Lake Station Chief Cornelius Purnell. Personal log, March 11, 1961. After being unable to get McElroy or Gates to see the light, I hoped my meeting with McNamara would fare better, but I had no such luck. For years now, DoD have run experiments with their 115 division, but we're the ones with all the supply. I told McNamara we have the Fort Knox of Element 115 right next to our nuclear testing site. If we combine resources and work together instead of simply bartering resources, Groom Lake could receive the funding to properly mine the materials and expand experimentation. But no, McNamara was uninterested. Another Secretary of Defense, another bust for Project Broken Arrow.
You have made progress, Dr. Lehman?
Yes. Yes. As you know, our success with the undead experimentation has been limited.
Yes, we've achieved the same benchmarks as Max's. But as with his trials, they refuse to obey orders.
That's right. We can't control them. We can't make them docile. But I believe I've cracked it.
I'm listening.
Okay, last month, our man inside the Ascension group sent us copies of Dr. Richtofin's diary now. I've been poring over it, following his research, and...
That doesn't seem very docile to me.
Just watch. Stand back, Dr. Schuster. I promise you, it's quite safe. Walk.
Incredible. It's completely subservient. How did you achieve this?
Well, I vaporized element 115, brought it to a gaseous state. The specimen inhaled it.
Inhaled it?
Unfortunately, it had to be done while the specimen was still alive.
While they were still alive? Good heavens, man, did you...
The soldier was going to die anyway. Doctor? Are you all right?
Oh, my apologies, Layman. I'm distracted by the eyes. They're yellow.
Washington's words have lingered with me these last few days. To be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. Mankind has always prepared for war because we face an enemy we know intimately, our fellow man. In a way, we are the only enemy we have ever truly known. But now, I sit here with the Groom Lake report in my hand, and I contemplate an enemy beyond our comprehension. An entity with the powers of a god that can manipulate time, space, and the very nature of other beings. The evidence is clear. A trail of carnage can be tracked. October 21st, 1945, the Rising Sun Research Facility. October 28th, 1945, Group 935's Dereza facility. April 25th, 1956, the Himalayas. Now, I am no stranger to undead experimentation, nor their outbreaks. I've read Purnell's reports on the airfield and asylum incidents. The undead may be a concern, but they are not the threat. Without a leader, they are mindless and uncoordinated. But the idea of a being that commands an undead army with seemingly unlimited resources, that gives them marching orders to strike at any time and any place? How do you prepare for war with that? How do you protect America? How do you protect the planet? One of the scientists we acquired from Group 935, Dr. Schuster, I believe is his name, claims to be familiar with the entity. He says her name is Samantha. This Samantha may be the greatest threat our nation has ever faced. Certainly more than that from the Soviet Union or Cuba, for they are just men.
Personal log, February 23rd, 1963. The construction of the moon teleporter ongoing. Number of scientists from the Pentagon's 115 division have been stationed on site here at Groom Lake. Dr. Schuster, head of the operation, continues to be full of surprises. He's been telling me these stories about an evil little girl named Samantha, that she can control the undead. I asked Colonel Sawyer about it, and he told me to pay it no mind. Apparently everybody's been laughing off Schuster's stories for years now. But then, yesterday, Schuster says he has proof. He claims this
Samantha is
responsible for several outbreaks over the last 20 years. Rattles off a bunch of names, and one of them was the Rising Sun facility. I lost a good man there, Peter McCain, and never got an explanation for it. investigate this further.
I'm just a little confused, Dr. Schuster. You've already successfully established a teleporter link between the Pentagon and Groom Lake.
The Pentagon to Groom Lake is child's play, a distance of 3,890 kilometers. What we're talking about now is a distance of 380,000 kilometers.
But it can be done.
Of course, Colonel Sawyer, but I had 2 years to perfect the link to Groom Lake. The timetable you've given me to establish a link to the moon is far more aggressive.
Do I need to remind you what we're up against? Dr. Richthofen told us about Griffin Station back in 45. From what we've discovered, he told the Soviets the same thing. The Soviets achieved teleportation 2 years before we did. If they get to the moon first, they get to claim Griffin Station.
Yes, I know all about your adorable space race. But need I remind you that if this teleporter becomes operational, even a single mathematical error could lead to catastrophic results. Yes, it will take you to the moon. I have little worry over where it will take you. I worry about when.
What? Time travel? Give me a break.
Precisely. If the specifications are not exact, we could create temporal rifts with ripple effects that will undo the very fabric of space-time itself. Simply put, don't rush. Science moves at its own pace.
Just get it done, Doctor. You have 2 weeks before we begin testing. Out of 10 trials. Docile and obeying commands. And it's activated with living subjects.
That's correct, Colonel. Completely subservient.
And you've achieved all this with a chemical gas?
That is correct, Colonel. Dr. Lehman has successfully transformed Element 115 into a chemical weapon.
Do you know what this means, Dr. Lehman? What the potential of this gas could be?
Yes, but more importantly, we've gotten these creatures to obey our commands. As Richtofen and Maxis would have wanted.
Now to hell with them! This gas, if you released it over Moscow, you could end this Cold War tomorrow. Dr. Schuster, when can we bring this to full production?
With some additional testing, 6 weeks.
That's perfect.
Hold on a damn minute. Okay, that's not what this is all about. A chemical weapon is nothing! We're talking about building an undead army here. How do you not all get that? It's what I'm supposed to do. It's what I've been ordered to do.
What's gotten into you, Dr. Lehman?
What's gotten into me? We're not following her orders. She told me to do this. It's what we have to do, not waste our time with this bullshit.
Excuse me, Doctor. Do we have a problem?
No, Colonel, no problem. We'll get it done.
Be sure you do.
What the devil has gotten into you?
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, it's that damned diary. Ever since I started reading it, I'm hearing things like a voice in my head.
Pull yourself together. This is a major breakthrough. Be proud of your work.
Don't worry. I still hear you. They are fools. It will be done.
Personal log, July 29th, 1963. I spent the last several months combing through archives and conducting extensive research. And I can't believe what I'm about to say, but this is real. This girl, creature, entity, this being possesses a very real and very dangerous power. Fortunately, as of now, her attacks have been contained. If she were to choose to unleash fury, she could wipe us off the map. And not just the United States, she could destroy everyone. But there is an opportunity here. To combat this threat, the Pentagon's going to need to significantly increase their 115 operation. To support that, they'll need greater access to our gold mine at Groom Lake. Project Broken Arrow is the key to all of this. 2 birds, 1 stone. We'll combat a threat to national security, and I'll secure the funding for my program and its operations. Drafting a report on the incident. Plan to present it to McNamara in the coming weeks.
Log entry 97, August 3rd, 1963. The matter transference device has been realigned. Again, in order to accommodate additional temporal variables. This is test number 11. Human subject 5, 1 Private Hastings. If the transference specs are correct, Private Hastings will arrive at Griffin Station on August 3rd, 1963. If he arrives at this date, a communication link will be successfully established, and we will have confirmed that the teleporter's temporal anomalies have been compensated for. Are you ready, Private Hastings?
Yes, sir.
I can't understand a word of what he's saying in that ridiculous spacesuit. A simple thumbs up will suffice, Private Hastings. Good. Initiate the transference matrix. Moment of truth. Dr. Richards, did it work? Do we have a stable connection?
No, sir. Nothing. We've lost him.
That's the 5th man we've lost. This base is rapidly running out of privates. Dr. Lehman, I was told you might be down here. Dr. Lehman, what are you doing?
I am doing what I have to do. You all must understand.
That is the facility's air filtration system. If you release the gas...
Then you will all learn a hard lesson in how disobeying her wishes has consequences.
Damn it! Where are the gas masks?
What have you done?
I'm sorry. I have to get her out of my head. Goodbye, Dr. Schuster.
Wait! Is this your doing, Samantha? Are you there? Yes, what do we do?
My contacts on the ground now confirm it. On October 28th, the entity known as Samantha attacked an abandoned theater in Berlin. This marks her first attack in 9 years. The location she chose is interesting. In 1940, the German High Command repurposed it as a Group 935 facility. That makes this the 3rd Group 935 operation that Samantha has targeted. The Berlin incident has forced us to reevaluate the recent Pentagon outbreak. We had previously assumed it was a contained affair, but must now acknowledge the possibility that Samantha played a role. I've made arrangements for the President and Castro to discuss the Broken Arrow initiative. If Samantha poses as great a threat as it seems, we must put aside our differences. No nation alone can defeat her. An alliance must be formed. We must reach across the metaphorical aisle. The meeting will be held here at the Pentagon in the coming days. Regretfully, I'm forced to admit that Purnell was is correct. If we use the Broken Arrow Initiative to harness the power of this Element 115, we could build a better world and be prepared for war with Samantha. I've given Roebuck the coordinates of the Berlin incident for safekeeping. He'll log them, along with all the others.
Personal log, September 3rd, 1963. The discussion with McNamara was a resounding success. His plans for it are bigger than I ever thought possible. It was so easy. All those hawks over there think about is war. Albert, Morrison, the Nuggets, and had the meeting out of the palm of my hand. Yeah, well, good riddance. They'll get their war, and I'll get
my riches.
You want to destroy this Samantha? So narrow minded. Why destroy her when we can take her power and harness it for ourselves? The amount of Element 115 buried down there, just imagine what we can do. We can mold the Earth anew, create it in our image. Here's to Dr. Schuster for gifting me this opportunity. With the excavator up and running at the test site, I'll be sure to get him access. And here's to
Broken Arrow.
to opening new worlds.
The Broken Arrow facility here at Camp Edward, Nevada, is categorized as a black site by the select few in the federal government who are aware of its existence. Broken Arrow was created by the Department of Defense in November of 1963, following the undead outbreak in the Pentagon. That incident was contained and kept classified, but every available resource was mobilized to prevent another such disaster. In addition to locations at Groom Lake and Hanford, Camp Edward was turned over to Broken Arrow for the research and creation of an American pyramid device based on a similar mechanism discovered on the moon. The efficacy and potential uses of the APD are still being determined.
The electrical output is unlike anything we've seen before, Director Purnell.
Come now, Dr. Hale. This is Element 115 we're talking about here. We know what it's capable of.
That's what I thought too. But the elemental shard, it's different. The levels of concentrated energy it contains, well, simply put, our team has been unable to measure it. It's unlike any Element 115 sample we've studied before. Whenever we drain energy from it, that energy is replaced, as if it's recharging itself. This ability, I think it's what Maxis was looking for all those years ago. I think it's the Genesis code.
That's unlikely, Doctor.
I know how it sounds, but look at the ADAMs. When we charged them with regular Element 115, it gave them power. But when they were charged by the shard, they feel and act different. They feel alive.
Dr. Maxis spent years reanimating the dead. Hell, the Germans made that Group 935's primary purpose during the war. But according to his own research, that was the ceiling. Reanimation. He could restore the body, but not the mind or soul.
I know. But he didn't have the shard. If you'll let me run some tests, I believe...
I don't think lab rats are gonna cut it here. I may have a candidate you can use. I'll let you know when he's been delivered.
Project MK Alpha is an offshoot of Project MK Ultra, the CIA program exploring the possibility of mind control as an espionage tool. While MK Ultra explored a spectrum of techniques, MK Alpha focused on the use of a highly classified American Pyramid device, located in Camp Edward, Nevada, for telepathic interrogation. Use of the APD yielded positive outcomes in a series of tests, but serious side effects experienced by both interrogators and test subjects were also reported.
I'll admit I've had my concerns, Cornelius. But if what you say is true, MK Alpha could transform interrogation practices.
Not just transform, Sawyer. Revolutionize. Using the APD to harness the power of Element 115, we'll be able to interrogate subjects from within their own subconscious. We could access their thoughts, manipulate their emotions, rewrite their memories. We can procure any confession. Brigadier General, what I'm offering you is mind control on a level MK Ultra could never dream of accomplishing.
So what's the holdup? What am I missing?
Providing power to the APD is proving, difficult. The design's based on Group 935's analysis of the MPD, which means its source of power is...
If you're about to suggest what I think you are, the answer is no.
It was the only way Rick Coffin's men were able to charge the Moon Pyramid device.
I am not, and I repeat, not letting you kill soldiers to harvest their souls.
We prefer the term life force, actually.
Call it whatever the hell you want. We're not Group 935. We're not killing people to power your pyramid. Find another way, Purnell, or I'm shutting this down.
This is Broken Arrow Operations Director Purnell, accompanied by Dr. Hale. The date is June 1st, 1964. It's approximately 1 a.m. We're about to begin test number 22. Dr. Hale, you may proceed when ready.
Confirming conduits have been linked with the shard. Output set to 5,000 volts. Duration set for 10 seconds. Beginning now.
I'm sorry, Dr. Hale. I thought we had him.
Director.
I don't believe it. Incredible.
Assessing vitals. First glance, everything looks good. I'll need some time to run a few tests, but I think we've done it.
Oh, take all the time you need, Dr. Hale. If we've done it, if we've truly restored life to the deceased, we'd better be damn sure we're right. Let's keep him quarantined for now. Begin your tests when ready. We need to make sure he is, who he was.
What was his name, Director?
Peter. His name was Peter McCain. I'll send you his file. And, Doctor?
Yes, sir?
Not a word of this to anyone outside the company. Not the CIA, not the DOD. Broken Arrow eyes only.
Of course, sir.
The ADAM initiative began with research into automated servants for public use. The androids were made to appear as human as possible, to function in people's homes and businesses as easily as a human employee. Easier, perhaps, since they required no food, sleep, or salary. The results were very encouraging. Not only did they perform everyday domestic tasks, but they inspired genuine affection in their employers. It didn't take long for Broken Arrow's top brass to recognize the military potential in the ADAM initiative.
You had something for me, Dr. Hale?
Yes, Director. White, bring me another one. This morning there was an incident with an ADAM. It short-circuited and broke down. We're not quite sure how or why, but I think what happened next will have your attention.
Here you are, Dr. Hale.
Hello. How may I be of service?
The ADAM died right next to one of the life force fuel canisters.
And?
And? Wife?
Yes, ma'am.
Malfunction. Power failure.
Watch what happens.
Remarkable. Dr. Hale, I'm not sure how this is possible, but you may have just saved this project.
The transfusion facility at Camp Edward served as a vital step in the MK Alpha interrogation process. Test subjects were escorted from the cells in prisoner holding and placed in the transfusion chair. Precise dosages of element 115 were then injected into the subject's bloodstream, rendering them susceptible to the interrogator awaiting them in the APD interrogation area. Use of element 115 for this procedure was highly controversial among the few who knew of the program. Its effects were unpredictable, and more than one subject who entered transfusion never made it to interrogation. Additionally, Broken Arrow medical technicians working in transfusion reported a variety of side effects from working with 115 and had to be replaced regularly. One interesting outcome is that base personnel avoided the transfusion facility even more than they avoided the APD itself.
I swear! I tell you what I know.
We've only scratched the surface. The night of November 6, 1963, you gained access to the Pentagon. How?
I do not know. I just appeared. I do what she says. I just appeared.
Who is she?
A girl. A little girl. She was in my head. In Yuri's head for so long. Liar, Dekma!
Why did she send you? Who was she targeting?
I do not know.
You lie. Tell me who she was targeting.
People who tried to stop her. She sent me to stop them. I obey. Try to stop them. I take weapon. Get out of my head. I can feel you. Cody.
Not until we're finished. Did she tell you about her next attack?
Next attack?
What is her next attack? What's she planning?
She said many things. About past, present, future. Oh, she see all time the same. That is how she travels. She show me.
What did she show you? What did she show you, Yuri?
She showed me moon. And she showed me this place. Secret government facility.
Is she planning to attack here?
Not for a long time. 50, maybe 60 years. There will be big boom. Then she attack.
Don't play games with me.
I never play games. I tell you what she tell me. She tell me you will be there too, Purnell.
Know my name. Terminate the session. End it now.
Dr. Hale says you're making big improvements every day now.
Yes, sir. You might say I'm beginning to feel like the old me.
Absolutely remarkable. How far you've come these last few months can't be understated. How's the memory loss?
Still a struggle, sir. If I close my eyes, I can see it clearly for a moment. The Reese, Asylum, plane jump, but then it's gone.
So, what's next, Peter? What are your plans once your recovery's complete?
Sir?
Well, Dr. Hale mentioned your interest in staying on at Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow brought me back from beyond the veil, sir. I can think of no greater honor than repaying the organization for what they've done.
Believe me, Peter, the honor would be all ours. These are strange times. I need good men like you in my circle. DOD's claws are deep into our organization. Too deep. I've not confirmed it, but I suspect they've planted spies in our ranks. Last month, out of the blue, they forced me to give up the elemental shard, as if they knew what we were up to.
Sorry to hear that, sir.
Oh, that's all right. DOD don't know it, but I managed to break the shard in two. Kept half so we can continue our work. We need to stay on our toes. I need people I can trust. You're welcome to join the organization, but it'll mean swearing loyalty to Broken Arrow before the United States. Company over country. I need to know that's something you can do.
I can do that, sir.
The APD interrogation program is a focal point for the MK Alpha program. Numerous tests were conducted with subjects who were strapped into the interrogation chair and given controlled doses of Element 115. These subjects were susceptible to telepathic probing from an interrogator located within the American Pyramid device. Initial results showed great potential, with crucial intel obtained directly from the minds of various test subjects. However, adverse reactions to Element 115 were observed, and prolonged time spent within the APD had deleterious effects on interrogators themselves, including Broken Arrow Director Cornelius Burnell.
There must be a way. There's got to be a way. The voices in my head, it's been years now. They won't leave me alone. The only way to temper them is liquid courage. At night it's worse. It's lonely here. So quiet in the middle of the desert. I hear them seeping through the dry cracks of dead dirt. They want me to find the way through.
The gateway.
I found a schematic in Dr. Richtofen's journal. He'd made a plan, a backup plan, to build a device, a fast lane. We tried to build it, but we didn't have the necessary components. They just don't exist. The last several months, I've had this reoccurring dream. In it, I'm able to merge with the ether, the spirits. They say it's the only way. I need to investigate this further.
The prisoner holding area at Camp Edward was originally designed to detain spies and trespassers. However, its main usage was in conjunction with Project MK Alpha. Test subjects for APD interrogation were kept in prisoner holding and escorted to transfusion before delivery at the APD for their interrogation sessions. If they emerged relatively intact, they were taken back to a holding cell and processed out of the base. However, not all subjects survived the process.
Yuri, this is very important. How do you get to Agartha?
Why do you hear the voices too?
Answer the question.
It is not for you! It is not for anything of us.
Answer the question.
Director, we should halt the interrogation. His levels are fluctuating rapidly.
We're done when I say we're done. Tell me how to get there, Yuri.
I do not know. And even if I did, I would not tell you. You have been marked by it. You are cursed. I hear it in your thoughts. I can feel it. Corruption.
I can do this all day, Yuri. Tell me what I want to know.
Get out of my head! The confluence! Curse!
How do we get there?
You do not possess power to withstand its embrace. Even if you find way to ascend, you will not comprehend what you saw. It
would destroy you.
Dr. Hale, report.
One moment, Director. He's gone, sir. This is Dr. Hale, conducting Purnell test number 1. The date is August 3rd, 1967. The Director has secured himself inside the APD, and we are ready to begin the transfer. When I flip this switch, an electrical current will be pulled from the elemental shard and will flood the APD. Are you ready, Director?
Yes, Dr. Hale.
Cornelius, are you sure about this?
More than anything.
Commencing test. Director, what? Are you all right?
Better than all right, my dear. Run it again.
This is Peter McCain, Deputy Director at Camp Edward, February 4th, 1968. Personal log. Last week, Officer Weiss spoke with me about an incident he witnessed. On January 26th at 0300, Weiss witnessed an unauthorized access of the APD. Weiss claimed it was being used by Director Purnell. He believes these experiments have been running for some time now, which lines up with the numerous complaints I've received about Purnell's erratic behavior. 1 week later, on February 2nd, I witnessed firsthand what Weiss reported. I don't know what the purpose of this experiment is. It's certainly not authorized by either Broken Arrow or the Defense Department. Now, I can't say I'm surprised Dr. Hale is so willingly assisting the Director. Her affection for him is well known around the base. I also can't say I'm surprised Purnell would take advantage of her affection. My old friend has changed in recent years. I suspect his exposure to Element 115 is the reason for his newfound confidence. I've decided to inform Brigadier General Sawyer. The Department of Defense will decide his fate.
The solitary confinement area was where test subjects were taken following APD interrogation sessions. They were held there for several days before being returned to prisoner holding. In the early days of MK Alpha, subjects were taken directly from the APD back to holding. They tended to be unruly, traumatized by having another mind rummage through theirs, and this unnerved subjects in neighboring cells. It was determined that a cool-down period in solitude mitigated adverse reactions, and so the solitary cells were added.
What? What happened? Where am I? Cornelius!
4 years ago, I asked you to swear an oath. An oath to the company. Company over country. At that time, you pledged loyalty. I guess we have different definitions of the word loyal.
This is one of our solitary cells. How did I get here?
Put some knockout juice in your tea. Passed out like a baby. Had my men throw you down here. You see, they're still loyal to me. Especially once I informed the staff that you've been experiencing delusions due to 115 exposure. You're a threat to yourself and all those around you.
No, that's not true. You know that's not true.
And to think, after all I've done for you. You carried the guilt of your death for years. I carried it for so long I was determined to find a way to bring you back. I find a way. Bring you back from the great beyond. And this is how you repay me.
Cornelius, you're not well. You need help. You're suffering from aggressive 115 exposure. You're not seeing clearly.
Oh, on the contrary. I see clearer now than I ever have. I walk through the land of the blind with one eye open.
And what do?
You go and file a report with the Department of Defense that Director Cornelius Purnell is unstable and a threat to national security. Can't have you interfering with my plans, Peter.
You can't stop it, Purnell. Sawyer will come. He'll bring his men. He'll see what you've become.
Well, of course he will. But it won't matter. By then it'll be too late.
This is Dr. Hale conducting elemental shard test number 54. The date is March 15th, 1968. Initiating test now. What is going on?
Where is Director Purnell?
He's inside the APD.
Dr. Hale, I need you to step away from the control panel. Private? Yes, sir.
No, wait. You can't stop the test. We're right in the middle.
Doctor, Director Purnell has betrayed his country and is considered an enemy of the state. He's coming with us. Right now. Private, you may proceed.
Wait, no!
What the hell?
The whole facility just lost power.
What have you done to me?
Everybody, stand back. What the hell is that thing?
Director Purnell? Cornelius?
Director Purnell is no more. And all of you are unwelcome.
Sir, we have a containment breach. Nova 6 gas is leaking throughout the facility. Everybody move! Get the hell out of here!
The gas is the least of your concerns.
Open fire! Private, get on the horn. We need reinforcements. We need to get the hell out of here.
None of you are leaving.